Miami, hands down, the best race weekend of 2025. Before we even hit the Grand Prix, we had the GP before the GP, and those Lego cars? I couldn't stop laughing. Then, when the main event kicked off, those first 25 laps were straight up cinema, but the stories, everywhere. The biggest one by far, Ferrari. What a mess. The strategy, the radio blunders. It was like watching a team trying to relive their old failures. Honestly, it's been the most disappointing team of 2025. And yeah, Aston Martin's struggling, but at least they're dragging a garbage bin around the track. Ferrari, one of the most iconic names in motorsport, and this is what they're serving up? It's tough to watch. Then we had those radio moments. Lewis Hamilton firing off with that energy, throwing shade. That fire is back. I want to see this Lewis every race. And Charles Leclerc, even he's feeling the weight. It's hard to blame him. It's been a rough start for Ferrari, and this GP really put the spotlight on how far they've fallen. But hey, before we dive deeper, thank you. Seriously, your support means the world. If you're new here, please subscribe. Now, let's get into this wild Miami weekend. Leclerc and Lewis, they looked happier in those Lego cars than they have all season. Let's talk about that sprint victory for Lewis. We saw him genuinely happier there, but honestly, this has been the happiest we've seen him all season. And let's be real, not in that SF25 car. Ferrari started the GP in P8 and P12, and Williams was the faster car. Let that sink in. Just 2 years ago, Williams was a dead last team. Ferrari, on the other hand, was fighting for victories, or at least podiums, especially with Carlos Sainz pulling off that shock win in Singapore. In 2024, the SF23 was a race winner, always in the mix for podiums and consistently fighting for the top. Now, Ferrari's struggling to even make it into Q3 in Miami. That's embarrassing. With the formation lap done, rain was a real threat in Miami, and every team was thinking about it. Some teams, like Red Bull, played it smart. Max had more downforce than Yuki, which gave him an edge in qualifying, but might have hurt him when the race kicked off. Now lap 1. We all knew we'd get a showdown between Max and Lando, and of course, that's exactly what we got. Lando had a better start, but chose to go around the outside. Max? He goes hard into turn 1, locks up just a bit, and then Lando tries to capitalize on the gap. Max, though, he closed it. Fair racing, hard racing, but here's the thing. That move ultimately cost Lando the race. He was probably the quickest guy on track, but after that turn 2 incident, he dropped all the way down to P6. That gave Max the lead and opened the door for Oscar to slip into P3, with Kimi now fighting for P2. Gotta give it up for Oscar. It was a solid weekend for him. Even though his teammate finished ahead, it was a good overall race, and he's gonna learn a lot from this. But quickly, that McLaren, it's blistering fast. Oscar and Lando were out there absolutely killing it. They were just so much quicker than everyone else. But Lando, he was on a mission. He wasn't wasting any time, just overtaking cars as quickly as he could. Gotta respect that kind of fire. He must have been absolutely furious after what happened in turn 1. That move was really just down to him being a bit too impatient. And with Max, you can't afford to be like that. As Max said at the end of the race, you can't go halfway. You either take the perfect opportunity or you're in the wall. No in between. Now, Oscar was behind Max for a solid chunk of laps, and what we saw was pure cinema. Whether you love him or not, Max Verstappen is giving us the most entertainment in 2025. The way he defends, the way he fights in that car, that's what makes these battles so epic. And Miami deserves respect. It gave us a really solid GP. The DRS zone was extended going into the first section, and that made the race so much better. I've always thought it was a decent layout, but it finally lived up to expectations. And hey, they signed until 2041, so it better deliver, right? Back to the battle. Lap 14. Max goes too deep on the brakes, locks up, and that gives Oscar just enough room to make the move. This was the pressure Oscar had been putting on for lap after lap, and there's no doubt about it. McLaren has the quicker car, no debate. Once Oscar overtook Max, it was game over for him. And then, because of those two battling, Lando started catching up fast. So once again, we had these two together on track. And of course, you guessed it, absolute cinema. Very close between the two, but I gotta say, there were some iffy moments. Max was defending like a pro in a slower car, while Lando, a little too ambitious at times. But in lap 17, Lando finally gets the move on the outside. And then on lap 18, he pulls it off for good. What a fight. Max really brought it to us, didn't he? Now, in the back, the Williams boys? Wow. Major props to both Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon. Honestly, you've got to give a round of applause for what's shaping up to be an incredible season for the Williams team. The factory should be proud of this progress. I said it earlier. 2 years ago, they were dead last. Now, Alex finishes in the top 5 and was competing with Mercedes. That's huge. I'm honestly thrilled for Williams. It should have been Aston Martin, but look at them now. Now, Lewis Hamilton? What a move on Ocon. He puts on a nasty dive, goes around the outside, and then Ocon tries to get him back in that sector. But Lewis? He gets back into the points. And even though it wasn't his weekend, he made the best of it. He's still making that car work. A couple of VSEs come out, thanks to Ali Berman and Bortoleto retiring. Tough luck for the rookies. Miami just wasn't kind to them. Then, back to the Williams fight. Albon passes Antonelli and Sainz gets around Leclerc. Can you believe it? The Williams car is actually faster than Ferrari's. Just crazy. And then, with the VSE out due to Bortoleto, Lewis goes for an opportunistic move on Carlos. He dives into turn 1 with Leclerc fighting him, and I honestly thought we were about to see through goes Hamilton once again. Didn't quite happen, but massive props to Lewis. Like I said, he's making do with what he's got, and let's face it, that car is terrible. Then, the furious team radios come in, and you see just how incompetent Ferrari is in these race situations. Always a step behind, always a lap too late. It's a disaster, and of course you're Ferrari. That radio button clicks, and you're going to be on blast every time. And Lewis? He let them have it. It all starts with Lewis on the radio. You want me to just sit here the whole race? And of course Ricky hits him with the classic Ferrari response. I'll come back to you. Yeah, right. And then they ask, want to keep the DRS to Charles? Sure, just like that. Lewis? He's pissed off. And rightfully so, he's on the better tyres, and they're making him stay behind. Just put me in front. If Charles can't catch Antonelli, we can swap back at the end. But of course, it takes them 3 or 4 laps to decide. In a race this tight, that's a disaster. Every car is close in pace, and you're wasting precious tyre life. Lewis isn't going to dive bomb his teammate. He respects the team's strategy, but this is getting ridiculous. Finally, he comes back on the radio. This is not good teamwork. That's all I'm going to say. And he's right. At this point, Lewis is furious, and he has every right to be. He gives a perfect example from China. I got out of the way when you were on a different road. Understood, we swapped the cars. And then he hits them with the perfect line, have a tea break while you're at it. Boom. Absolutely perfect for this incompetent Ferrari team. So, Lewis gets in front. But let's be honest, he doesn't really have that much pace. The issue? Leclerc in front was burning through his tyres, the car was overheating, and the strategy? A mess. Classic Ferrari. And this, folks, is where the Ferrari clown meme comes from. They're gonna keep getting blasted like this until they fix it. I hear people saying Fred Vasseur should be out as team principal. But look, they've changed team principals every year. Vasseur has done a great job so far, considering the chaos he inherited. The problem isn't just him, it's a deeper issue at Ferrari. Ferrari took a huge risk, changing 99% of the car. But it didn't pay off. It's clear, the pace just isn't there. Imola might bring a big upgrade, but right now, they're not even close. Not even a little bit. The GP continues. Lando starts closing the gap to Piastri, but let's be real. Piastri won the race when he got ahead of Max in the beginning. Lando struggled for a couple of laps, and that gave Piastri the breathing room he needed. Even though Lando had a 2/10 advantage lap after lap, it wasn't enough. McLaren's got the quickest car, no debate. That thing is a rocket ship, 30 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. But then, again, Ferrari comes on the radio. Leclerc says, I need Lewis to go faster. I've got dirty air now. This right here, this is the problem. They swapped too late. Leclerc had the right to be frustrated. He was the fastest driver by the end of the race, but it was all because Ferrari didn't make that initial move earlier. Then, Ricky goes on the radio. Sainz is 1.4 behind. And Lewis? He fires back. You want me to let him pass too? At this point, it's like you're watching a dramatic TV show, not Formula One. It's crazy how every single GP, Ferrari's radio messages become the main event. Lewis is pissed, no surprise there. Charles? I guarantee he was just as frustrated behind that radio too. It was a disaster. Another embarrassing weekend for Ferrari. But, in general, Miami delivered. We got McLaren fighting towards the front, and I wish the gap was a little closer. Oscar and Lando were battling it out like we know they can. That's one to watch moving forward. Max gave us what he could, of course, but he was clearly pissed off. That car's not quick enough. And then there's George. You've got to respect the hell out of him. Even on an off weekend, with a bad qualifying, he still manages to end up on the podium. Super impressive. And let's not forget Alex Albon. I mean, hats off to him. He did an incredible job finishing in P5. This was the race of the year, easily. I hope we get more weekends like this. So many overtakes. And it wasn't just the quantity, it was the quality of those overtakes. Beautiful battling, intense wheel-to-wheel racing. This is Formula One at its finest. I'm glad we got what we did out of the Miami GP. It lived up to the hype, no doubt. What do you guys think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Obviously, talk about Ferrari, but let's discuss everything else that happened in the race. Like, subscribe, it means the world. And as always, peace.